Hi there, it's Melissa Fillmore again. It is Q&A Wednesday. I love this day. So much fun to see everybody and get all these fun questions to talk about. You know that I actually bring these questions directly from my clients, people that I've talked to. Questions that get asked a lot tend to be hot topics for me because, first of all, I find that I really need to educate everybody on how things really work when it comes to the world of fitness, but also because I figure if one person's asking it, then lots of people are probably asking. So today's topic is I've kind of approached this topic before, but it is, what does it really take to be in shape? Because I find it kind of funny for several reasons. Partially because everybody thinks that it should happen super quick and that it should be super easy to maintain. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. First of all, this is going to be a short night. We've got family in town tonight. It is graduation week. I have a son graduating on Saturday. Super exciting here. Also, before I forget, next week we are going to have a special Facebook Live night. Thursday night we're going to have a special guest. It's going to be super great. You're not going to want to miss it. I love talking to guests and people who love to empower women and people who are super positive and have great businesses or great business models that really incorporate empowering other people. So super excited to share that one with you. I'll give you more information on Monday when I post it. But for tonight, again, we're going to talk about what it takes to be in shape. Now, notice I didn't say what it takes to get in shape. We're going to cover that. But to be in shape, which kind of means long term, right? I don't know anybody who goes, hey, I want to get in really, really good shape, and then I want to just go right back to where I started. I don't think that's really what most people want. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I have some great thoughts on that. But my first question to you, if you are watching this tonight, is what does in shape mean to you? Because it means different things to different people. It means something completely different to me now than it did when I was a 210-pound woman. So, back then I just wanted to be skinny. And now to me, skinny is a four-letter word. When people say, oh man, you're looking skinny, I'm like, say it again, see what happens. So obviously I don't really care much for the word skinny, but I prefer lean. Lean is a good word. So anyway, you really got to figure out what, being in shape means to you. First of all, think about what it is that you want to look like. You got to think about, is there somebody that you admire? Is there a physique that you admire? Is there, and it can be, honestly, it can be anything from how you feel, health-wise, to how you look. Most of us, come on, let's be real. Most of us want to look good to some degree. Most of us don't necessarily need to be a supermodel, but we just want to feel good about ourselves, because when you look good, you feel good, and it brings confidence. So that's great. So look at somebody whose physique that you admire, and keep in mind that, if you want to look like they look, you probably got to do something close to and similar to what they are doing. I had a absolutely beautiful client briefly who, again, notice I leave everybody nameless, but I'm trying to prove a point, who was just awesome. And, she was kind of half-hearted into the workouts. And one day we were discussing a friend that we had in common, and she goes, I really want to look like this person. I said, then honey, you have to do what she does. And she goes to the gym 5 days a week. She does cardio 7 days a week. She does this. She watches her food. And when my client heard that, she kind of had to think about that again. And I reminded her that not only do you have to do that now, you have to do that for as long as you want to look like she does, because she's in it for the long term. And so once she figured that out, she had to kind of rethink what her goals were, because I think sometimes we don't think about that. What is it that person does? If you're watching someone who's a CrossFitter and you love their look, their shape, their energy, the intensity of their workouts, okay, well then you probably have to do something similar to what a CrossFitter does. You're going to have to repeat that, or at least find something that's close, right? If you want to look like a supermodel, you're going to have to probably do some of the things that they do. Again, not even that's a healthy option. I want you to be the best you that you possibly can be. Just sometimes you need a little bit of guidance towards whatever the focus is that you're looking for. So keep that in mind. But let's delve into this a little bit more. Most people overestimate what it takes to get to their goal, and they underestimate the consistency that it's going to require. Now, let me kind of tell you a little bit more about that. So, most people think, okay, well, to really get where I want to go, I'm going to have to work out 6 days a week, and it's going to have to hurt. It's going to have to be painful, and I need to run, and I need to eat nothing but carrots and celery. I need to starve myself. See, they're already overestimating what they think that it requires, to get where they want to go. But then they underestimate the fact that if they would just make some minor changes or some balance changes, just eat a little bit better, drink more water, get enough sleep, go to the gym more than once a year when you sign up for your gym membership. The consistency is where it's at. So it doesn't have to be crazy, painful, ridiculous, workouts. That's not what it's about. I always tell my clients, it doesn't have to be painful. Is it probably going to be uncomfortable? Probably a little bit. But it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be dead at the end of every day after your workout. As a matter of fact, it's not healthy. But you have to do everything on a consistent basis, even when you don't feel like it. So keep that in mind. That's part of the process. But I want you to think about what it is. Like I said, if you want to get really, let's say you want to get ripped, that is your goal. You want to look lean and you want to look like that forever. Okay, what are you willing to give up? Because to be honest, in order to get where most people want to go, they don't think about the sacrifices that will be required to reach a physique of that caliber, right? So what is it that you're willing to give up? Now I'm talking about things like, are you willing to give up time watching TV every night so that you have time to fit your workout in? Are you willing to give up junk food and the things that you like to eat on a regular basis? Because to be honest, you're probably going to have to really get where you want to go. You're probably going to have to give up alcohol, at least on a regular basis, in order to reach some stepping stone of leanness or physique that you're looking for. Because while alcohol doesn't itself make you fat, it does prevent you from burning fat. So again, is that something that you're willing to give up? I have to giggle a lot when people kind of find out what it is going to take to get where they think they're going to go. And they think, well, wow, I just can't do that. I'm like, well, maybe you can't. It has to be, you have to want it badly enough that you're willing to pay those prices, right? Which is, you might have to give up alcohol for a while. That's just the nature of being healthy and getting to that point. Again, if you want to be a powerlifter, different ball game. Powerlifting's not about physique. Do you still have to feed your body for that sport? Absolutely. But different sports, different choices, different goals require different elements and different sacrifices. Different overall choices. So keep that in mind. You may have to give up some traditions that you keep even as a family, whether, come on, at Christmas time, if I'm in the middle of contest prep, I do not eat Christmas dinner. I eat what it is that's required to get me to the next level. So what is it that you're willing to give up? Are you willing to give up the hour of social media that you spend every day on your phone? So many people say, well, I just don't have time. I just don't have time. And then I start asking some more questions like, how much time do you spend on electronics themselves? They are such time wasters. So the only reason that I even use social media is to promote my message. I want to make sure that people learn how to get healthy in a healthy way, in the right way. Thank you, Alejandra. I appreciate that. I love people's information. The stuff pops up as we go, and I love it. I love saying hi and answering questions. So if you have a question, don't forget to leave it at the bottom and I will answer it. Okay, so we're talking about the sacrifices that you may have to make to be in shape. And again, so I have two really great questions for you. That we're going to end with here in a minute. But I also want to talk a little bit about balance, because, balance changes depending on what you have going on in your life. I'm a mother of 5. They're not all home anymore. I have adult children. How weird is that? But my balance changes when I'm getting ready for a competition. That is my focus. My kids know it. We've talked about it. But on the off season, whether somebody's got something major going on or there's a sickness in the family, my life has to change and balance. Hi, Twan. Balance, what's that? I know, right? So, but it is about a balance. There will come a time that, depending on what your goal is, that you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to find that balance of where it is that you want to go and what you're willing to sacrifice, because you still have to be happy and human. if you get to the point where it's like, I know that I can take that next step, but gosh, I don't think that I'm willing to give up, Friday night beer with my buddies. I'm just not ready to give that up. That might be your limit. That might be where you're going to go. Now you have to realize though that then that's as far as you're going to go when it comes to your physique change or your health choices, and be okay with it. That's part of the process. I think we all jump in with this big grand idea that I'm going to be ripped and everybody's going to be amazed. Okay. You haven't thought about the psychological part of it yet. So the emotional and psychological part is one of the hardest parts of it. The physical part, honestly, guys, is the easy part. It's the mental and emotional that's tough, as most of you know. So again, keep that in mind. Cody says that he is going... Are you giving up 3 plates of food with 2 hands? That's your balance? I'm not quite sure. Oh my gosh, they're fighting on there. It's awesome. It's super funny. So here's my 2 questions for you tonight. Again, this is about what does it really take to be in shape? So my first question is, and if you're not sure how to get there, you need to consult a professional, someone who knows, tell them what your goal is. Hey, I would really like to drop 3 pant sizes. How do I get there? We can give you that outline, that guideline, right? We can break it down, tell you kind of what your formula is, and then you have to ask yourself these 2 questions. The first one is it something that you can and are willing to do? Okay, so, and that requires all aspects of it. That's the food, that's the exercise, that's the sleep, that's the mental and emotional health, that's all encompassing. Okay, so first, are you willing to do what it takes to get to your goal or to be in shape? And number 2, are you willing to do what it takes to maintain it? Okay, so for those of you who already know me, you know kind of how I roll. I'm about the long term. I'm about the lifestyle. What's the point? What's the point of doing something craziness for 1 month if you can't get where you want to go and then stay there for the rest of your life? It's about building the habits that create the lifestyle. So again, are you willing to do what it takes to get there? And then are you willing to do what it takes to maintain it? So those are 2 really great questions for you that you might ponder as you're deciding what your goals are, especially right now. Summer's here. Wow, that happened fast. Everybody's thinking summer bod. So it's time to kind of ponder where you want to go with that. We've already talked about what's necessary to get there and how long I think it should take, and what, the drastic part of it that, I don't care much for. It's all about getting there and staying there. It's not how fast you can take it off. It's how long can you keep it off. So with that being said, I'm going to go spend some family time because it is graduation week. But you guys, again, if you have questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I get my questions from you, my best questions. You can also leave me, email me actually at melissa@fillmorefitness.com. I do read all of those, fantastic. And so have an incredible evening and we'll see you next week. Wednesday and Thursday next week, regular Q&A Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, and also our special guest at 6:30 on Thursday. We'll see you then.